It's late summer, and I'm sitting on a pebbly beach in Lake Michigan. And I've been away from home for months because I've experienced great loss. Just 6 days into the new year, my whole world is turned upside down when my dad chokes out 5 distraught words over the phone. She finally did it, Adam. I didn't have to ask who or what. My sister Shindella suffered from suicidal ideation since the age of 12. Now, my sister and I, we didn't really get along growing up. I was born 2 years and 1 day after her, so she always kind of felt like I stole her birthday. But she did really love these cute little catchphrases. And when we were kids, there was a common refrain, something like, "See you later, alligator," "In a while, crocodile." And later in life, she coined this one, "Where there's a will, there's a Shay." And it was very true. If she really wanted something, by golly, she was gonna get it. Legally? Not always. We spent 10 years estranged because, frankly, her erratic behavior scared me. I didn't understand it, and in your 20s, it's hard enough to figure out your own self, let alone someone else. But our estrangement ended 8 years ago when I realized her destructive behavior, both to others and mostly to herself, was a reflection of how much she was suffering on the inside. And that's when I overcorrected a little. I went on a learning spree. I learned all about trauma and personality disorders and neuroscience and all the available therapies, and I did it enthusiastically. Who better to help my sister than me, her sibling, who has known her for most of her life? And if that sounds like a white knight story, it's because it is. I really thought I could swoop in and save the day. I thought if I paid for enough therapy, if I supported her enough, if I did enough wellness checks, if I supported her in every possible way that I could and gave her so much of my time and energy, it would make all the difference. But it actually seemed to make it worse. And it's hubris, isn't it? And that's what I was just beginning to realize on that beach. The only person that was capable of helping or saving my sister was my sister. And I knew that intellectually, and honestly, I knew that intellectually for a long time, but grief and loss have nothing to do with intellectualism. So I spent all summer looking for a way to let go of the guilt and the regret that I felt, and to find some way to accept and respect the choice that my sister made. And I looked for it in the pages of books about grief and loss and sorrow, and I looked for it at the tops of mountains and at the base of one, where my mother and I spread my sister's ashes. I looked for it on long hikes, in the cozy homes of friends and family, and I was looking for it alone on that foggy beach that morning. But something about that beach and that morning felt different. Maybe it was a culmination of all the things I had done up until that point, but I felt compelled to do something that is the exact opposite of intellectual. I found myself wading into that water, which was chilly and glass-like, and I got all the way to my waist, and I breathed once, I breathed twice, and on that third breath, I let myself fall backwards, completely submerging in that frigid water. And in that moment, every nerve of my body came alive, and for the first time in many months, I was present in the here and now. And I let myself play like I was a kid again, splashing and swimming. And the water was so crystal clear, I could see this beautiful mosaic of stones rolled in the waters of Lake Michigan, and I felt called to one in particular that was about the size of my palm. So I dove for it, and I put it in my pocket. I just kept it with me as I continued to do handstands underwater and float along the surface and just be present. And before I got out of that water and before I moved on with my life, there was one thing I instinctively knew I needed to do. So I took that stone out of my pocket and I moved to neck-high water, and I reached that hand out and I closed my eyes and I breathed into this stone. And not until my shoulders felt lighter and the stone was at its heaviest did I gently open my hand and let that stone and all of the things that I put in it sink to the bottom of Lake Michigan. Thank you.